Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to Heatherroseup. I am Heather. Before I get started on this week's update, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can continue to follow along on my weight loss journey. If you'd like to see how I did this week, keep watching. It is Friday. I recorded on Monday, but I will get to that in a little bit. I am on the struggle bus this week. I started the week off really strong and then trailed off towards the end of the week. But the thing is, here I am recording and talking about it, and I'm uploading a video about it, and I'm discussing it, and I'm not sweeping it under the rug, and I'm not ignoring it. I'm facing it head on. You'll notice the artwork in the background. I'm in my dining room, which I usually do record in my dining room, but the lighting is a little funky today. We're supposed to get snow. And so I turned this way, and I thought it'd be neat to share some of my kids' artwork that they've been working on during all of this in the background. I decided to hang them up in my dining room to make things a little more cheerful at home. That was a good tangent. Last week I made some goals for myself. The goals that I made for myself were to get in 32 ounces of water a day, to do some sort of physical activity a day, and to continue tracking like I had done the week prior. And let me show you my whiteboard and how that looks. So this is quite literally what it looks like to have the all or nothing mentality. Can you see where that pretty much kicked in? Wednesday. However, this is kind of where it started on Sunday, and I will talk about that more in depth. If you didn't see last week's video where I kind of dove into this more, go ahead and watch that. I'll have a link to that video in the description below. Okay, so yes, stopped here. Let's talk about that. So I started the week off strong. Friday I went for a walk. Saturday I went for a walk. Sunday I didn't have any deliberate activity. And by deliberate I mean where I said, I'm going to go for a walk today, or I'm going to do a video, or some sort of planned physical activity. And I tend to forget that some of the things I do day to day is physical activity. And if I had just paid attention to that and given myself a little bit more credit, maybe I wouldn't be in the predicament that I'm in today. So Sunday, I didn't have any deliberate physical activity. I did stuff around the house, some cleaning. My plan was to go for a walk, and I kept putting it off. And then finally, and it wasn't even like, I guess I just didn't give it enough attention or thought, because I remember thinking late at night that I forgot. But did I forget, or was it like just conveniently forgotten? I don't know, but I'm trying not to focus on that. And then Monday I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start over and not worry about yesterday. So I went for a walk, and I will show you how that went here. Happy Monday. It is windy where we are in Connecticut. It's funny because the weekend it was beautiful and warm. This morning the sun was shining and it was warm, and then all of a sudden it got chilly and windy. But I'm out walking and enjoying it regardless. Questioning my outfit of choice, but that's okay. So this weekend I did well with my goals. I completed my bottle of water on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I'm halfway through it for today. I did some sort of physical activity on Friday, Saturday. I did not on Sunday. It's almost like I forgot, and I could have done something at like 10:30, and I just chose not to. But I'm not expecting perfection. I'm expecting progress, so that's why I'm out today walking. I also earned a blue dot on Saturday and Sunday. I'm still tracking. So I'm doing well with that too. And I'm walking past people and I'm recording with confidence. So I will check back in tomorrow to let you guys know how the rest of today went. So I enjoyed that walk, and then Tuesday came along and I started putting it off again like I did on Sunday. And then at like 10:30 at night I said, I have to do something. I forced myself to do something, some sort of deliberate activity. So I decided I decided that I was going to go up and down the stairs 20 times. In my head, I thought that sounded doable. That's a lot of stairs. So around the 7th flight, I realized there's no way I could do 20 flights of stairs without really hurting myself. So I decided to do 10. But even then, I had to stop and really catch my breath. And then I finally stuck it out and did the 10 flights. So that was my activity then. But I really treated it like it was some horrible chore. And I know in the past when I've done that, it makes me just not want to do anything at all. So Wednesday came along and I didn't do any physical activity. And then Thursday, I didn't do any physical activity. I was tracking. Now, it definitely wasn't 100% honest tracking, and it was definitely more sloppy tracking. You'll notice a trend. My mentality throughout the week was, you're not doing this. You're not doing this. You're not doing this. I think I stopped drinking my water deliberately by Wednesday. So that really, when you start to dwell on what you're not doing, you really start to like give up mentally, and not completely, but you can give up with short-term goals too. And that's what I was doing. And then this morning, I started realizing I had to go to my workshop. I didn't have to go to my workshop, but I knew that if I was going to go to my workshop, I would have to address the goals that I made in last week's workshop, because I said them out loud for accountability. So now it was time to face the music. And I stepped on the scale. And I weighed in at 193.4, which means I gained 2 pounds this week. And I realized I'm officially the highest that I have been throughout this whole quarantine situation. And that hurt to see. So I weighed myself in, and I'm trying to prepare myself mentally to go show up for myself for my workshop. And I know that my workshops really help me feel motivated. It's good to hear other people's success stories, as well as hearing when other people are struggling too. Which, by the way, I wanted to mention, I have been noticing a trend in our WW community on Instagram, on here, and it seems like a lot of us are struggling. And guys, this, you know what, is hard. Losing weight and trying to make healthy habits for yourself and changing the way you do things is hard alone. But then you throw yourself in this situation of incredible uncertainty, and it's going to make things even more difficult. I also have noticed that there are some people that are succeeding. So don't get me wrong, there are people that are doing well, and you guys should be really proud of yourself, because again, this is hard and you're accomplishing your goals regardless of what situation you're in. So give yourself a pat on the back and know that you're doing an awesome job. And if you're struggling, you're still doing an awesome job, because if you're struggling, that means you haven't given up. That means that you're still working to change this situation for yourself. So yes, that was a tangent, but I felt it was very necessary to say that, that I know that I'm not alone in this situation. So to those who are being honest and recording themselves and talking about their struggles too, be proud of yourself, because that means we're trying to get through this. Okay, back to me preparing myself, trying to go into my workshop. So I knew it's not that I had to force myself to go. I was dreading it in a way, but I was also looking forward to it. I don't know if that makes sense. But I started thinking about how I was just going to throw my hair back and go in my pajamas. And then I thought about how when I do my makeup and I do my hair, it makes me feel good about myself. And then I thought to myself, just because I'm struggling doesn't mean that I don't deserve to feel good about myself. So yes, I may be at the highest weight that I have been during this whole quarantine, but I deserved to feel good about myself. So I did my hair and my makeup and I got out of my pajamas. And that did feel good. And it's funny because after that, my mood started to snowball a little. In a good way. I jump on my workshop and I talk about, in the chat, I forgot what my leader had mentioned. We were supposed to talk about our struggles. And I mentioned that I was struggling and she called on me. And I talked to the group about how I wasn't doing as well with my goals last week and how I thought, and then I thought how Deb, my leader, would say, okay, so I'm hearing you say all the things you're not doing right, but here's what you're forgetting. You did this, this, and this right. So yes, my goal was to do 7 days of activity. Instead of thinking, I didn't do 3 days of that activity. But instead, I switched my mindset and said, I accomplished 4 days of activity. I got a lot of positive feedback. I'm getting choked up because my group, my workshop, and I'm getting choked up because my workshop and the people I see every Friday, even in the virtual workshop, is such a great group. Okay. Is such a great group. My Friday morning workshop is such a great group of people. They're so supportive and they really help me feel like I'm not alone. So I started to focus more on my positive, and that's the goal that I'm making for myself for next week, is to focus more on my progress, not my perfection, and to give myself credit where credit is due and work really hard on that positive mindset. Things were starting to look up the past couple weeks with my goals, and the scale was moving down. I was tracking and doing really well, and I just expected, okay, it's just like old times. I can just continue to up my goals, forgetting that I'm in this situation and it's still going to be more challenging to keep that mindset. So my goal for next week is every day to write down something positive that I feel like I did accomplish. This week I really have to work on making sure I hold on to that positive mindset. Sunday is Mother's Day and Tuesday is my birthday. Now, I would love to be able to say, oh, I'm not gonna let those days be food related, but that's a lie. Last year I did not track on my birthday, and I think Mother's Day was the day before. My birthday was on Mother's Day, and so I didn't track that day. I'm leaving Mother's Day and my birthday open-ended. I'm not putting the pressure on myself to track, but I'm hoping that if I ease up on the pressure, I won't overdo it. It's funny because Sunday I actually have planned. My husband is making breakfast and dinner that day, and I requested Joan's Pointed Plates stuffed French toast because it is that good. So I am, not intentionally thinking about balance, just because it is one of those healthy habits that's kind of ingrained in me. So I'm hopeful that if I just ease up on myself a little bit, I won't overdo it. But I would like to track all the other days next week. I feel like my goals next week are not the most specific, but I feel optimistic that I will be making the progress that I need to make to help put myself in a better situation mentally for this. I want to be able to enjoy my birthday and Sunday and not be stressed out. So I apologize about the emotional video, but I'm trying. This is part of my progress, doing this and making sure that this is posted, to be transparent, to share the good with the bad. Not that it's bad, it's progress. I hope that you know, if you're watching this and if you're struggling, we got this. We can do this. And that if we're struggling, it really just means we are in it for the long haul. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did in any way, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. I hope everybody has a great week. If you're a mom in any way, shape, or form, happy Mother's Day on Sunday. And I will see you guys in a week. Bye.